Hi there, this is Shrikant Dasare. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about the very basics of the file structures in C++. So for this purpose, I have just created a blank project in C++. I have just written the basic code here, string.h, string.h, and iostring.h. Okay. So here, what we are going to do is in this tutorial, very small tutorial, just I'm going to take some variables and store some value into them, and what I'm going to do is just write those values into a file. Okay, so for this purpose I'm just taking four different variables here. The first one I'm taking a integer variable, the first one, which is I'm just going to name as roll number. Okay, so every student has some roll number. For this purpose I have just taken a roll number here, and then I want to take a name also. Let me say char name of so let me take 30. Okay, so okay, let us keep aside that. I'm just declared a string here, and also let us take a grade. Let us take a single character variable. Let us say that grade or something like this. Let us imagine that he has got a grade here. Okay, and then let me take a percentage also. So float percentage is equal to some 88.9 something percentage. Okay, so I've just taken four different variables just to store four different values. Okay, so although the name I don't want it to initialize directly, that I have, for that purpose I'm using here string copy function, and I'm just taking the name here, and then I'm putting my name on itself here. So I'm just putting my name here. Okay, so that's it. Okay, we have just put some data into those variables. Okay, so now in order to write some data into a file, we need to create an object for OFStream class here. Okay, so we have learned in the last lessons. So OFStream, if you are creating an object, let us say OF. Okay, so here we have created an object for OFStream using the OFStream class, because here our intention is to open a file in a write mode here. Okay, so next step, that's what we are going to do. We are going to open a file, of.open. Let us give the name directly here, or else you can give you can create a file in the background, in the bin here, in my case projects directory in Visual Studio. You can give that, and you can place the name of that file, or you can take the name from the user also. Okay, which we'll do in the consecutive lessons here. So first I am just saying that sample or .txt. I'm just putting taking a text file here. Okay, I'm taking just a text file and opening the text file in using the OFStream object here. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is using that object name here, I'm just pushing all the values into the text file here. Okay, so for that purpose you need to use this insertion operator, which is an overloaded operator in C++. For you mostly use this operator with cout statement, a cout object, and then now we are going to use with our OFStream object, which is OF here. Okay, so let me put all the names of the variables here, roll number, and then followed by name, and then followed by grade, and then followed by percentage. Okay, so just so what I did is just took all the values and pushed into a file here. Okay, so here I wanted to close the file as we are done with our task of putting the data. Okay, so first let us execute the program here. As we know that, let me press F5 here and see what happens. Okay, so now so the program got executed successfully. In order to check the output, we need to go to the section where the file has been created here. Okay, so first let us go back to our project directory. Okay, so let us say go back to our Visual Studio projects, and have just created named the project as tests. And if you go to the tests directory, here you have a sample file here. Okay, so you get all the stuff of data here. Okay, so if you want, I can increase the font size here a bit. Let me increase the font size. It might be viewable a bit. Okay, okay. So this is the data we have just stuffed in here. Okay, so the reason it is coming directly in this format because we haven't inserted any delimiters. Okay, so let us put those also. So roll number, if you want some space in between them, you can use this slash t also in between the variables here. Okay, so if you put some slash t or some kind of escape sequences in between them, what happens is the exact thing gets replicated. Okay, so some tab space will be added between those values here. Okay, so if you save it and execute once again, and now if you go back to your project directory, so go back to your project directory, nothing happens here. Okay, so here nothing happens because we haven't written any cout statement or so, something like that. If you go back to your project directory, which is tests, and go back to your tests folder and open the sample.txt file, here if you observe, you get this neatly so neat and clean. Let me increase the font once again so that it's a bit of viewable here. Okay, so it's so neat and it's very good to see all the data at one place. Okay, so if you want, you can have some bifurcation also. Okay, so tomorrow you can build a small kind of table here. Okay, so if you say something like this OF, and instead I can have what we call some textual data also. Okay, so if you say a roll number, and if you put some those what we call escape sequences in between them, here I'm just trying to get that tabular form of look here. Okay, so again I'm saying here name. Okay, so I'm just saying name. Again I'm trying to put that escape sequence tab space here. Again I wanted to have some grade here, and I want to have some grade. Okay, roll number, let us put them together. Let's not have the space and all those stuff here. Okay, so slash t and grade, and finally once again slash t and percentage or something like this. Okay, let us, this not a variable, it's being a text here. Let us put these quotations and close it. If you execute the program once again, every time you make the change in your code, you need to execute in order to replicate the exact changes in the text file which you are going to make there. Okay, so if you go back to your project directory once again, if you go back to your sample, it's all roll number. Got, I think because of oh, because this font size, it got messed up here. Okay, let me reduce the font size here. Okay, oh, done a blunder mistake. I have done a blunder mistake here. What the mistake I have done is immediately after this I need to add this slash in here. Okay, so if I don't add the slash in, it won't come. It comes in the same line, continues inserting the text after the values after those titles here. Okay, so now I think the problem is solved. Now if you go back to your project directory, which is tests here, and if you open the sample file here, let's see how neat and clean, even though this has been pushed a bit here. This name has been exactly under the name, roll number has been exactly under the roll number, and the grades are exactly under the grades are not exactly under this thing. So you can adjust that, not a big deal here. If you go back to your code once again, so I think after that name, if you put one more slash t or something like this, and if you execute that, and if you come back to your project directory, nothing happens here. Come back to your project directory and open the sample. Hearing alignment. Okay, so all these things are not that mandatory, design issues. So you can, if you want, you can remove this. Okay, so you can put some space or something like this. Not a big deal. The space get inserted automatically there, the empty space there. You can adjust it. You can use those set width and set fill. So many IO manipulators are there. You can make use of those things also. So not a big deal. The main theme is so that once again let me go to this test directory and sample. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so name, grade, percentage. Okay, so in this way you can arrange your data inside a file. You can store some data. You can store some data into the variable, and a consecutive times. Next times, if you run these things, okay, so the consecutive times if you run the values, what happens is so next time. So here is a problem also. Okay, so here we have opened the file in a default mode, which I discussed in the last tutorial also. So here what happens is if you change the values, okay, so if you take if you change the values here, what happens is the original values get distorted here. Okay, so I'm just changing everything here, and my name also I'm changing. Okay, I'm just saying RAM. So everything I have changed here. So if I execute the program once again, so what happens is if you observe, if you go back to your file here, so just execute the program. If you go back to your project directory, if you go back to your project directory, which is the tests and sample file here. So what happened is the previous values got deleted here. Okay, the previous values are no more here. So this is the problem with this default mode. Okay, so default mode of opening a file. Okay, there are three different ways of opening a file, which is in mode, out mode, and append mode here. Okay, so if I make a small change here, if I go back to my code here, if I make a small change here, okay, so if I say something like this, what happens is so if I say iOS scope resolution app. Okay, if I say something like this, and if I try to change the values here, the next consecutive run, let me say 32, and let me say grade A, and let me say 84.9, and let me say Ram Charan. Okay, Ram Charan, something like this. Okay, now what happens is, now if you run the code once again, let me press F5 and run the code once again. And after executing it successfully, if you go back to your project directory, I hope that problem would be solved here. Okay, so if you go back to your project directory once again, I hope that problem would be solved by now here. Okay, if you go back to your, oh, it's a kind of mess once again. That's because of the issue of no, just because. Okay, so if you observe here, the previous run values are retained once again. So what happens is every time this gets created, okay, so again the name, grade, percentage, again that also is being getting created here. Okay, so there is a small problems, design related issues here. Okay, so if you want to append some data, or if you get rid of this thing, let me comment this out. Okay, let me comment this out, and let me put a slash in here itself. Okay, let me put a double slash in here in the file itself. Okay, so everything that might not get created here, let me execute the program once again. Now what happens is that there is a chance of getting the duplication of data here. Okay, so this is the third successful run here. I'm just running the code a third time here. So if I go back to my project directory, if I go to the sample thing here, okay, so everything gets loaded once again here. Okay, so it's becoming a mess altogether. Let me go back to the code here. So here it is. Okay, so this is the, so let me remove this once. Let me remove this append mode once again. Let me save and execute the program once again. Let us see what happens now. Okay, I'm just outputting the values without any titles here. Let me go back to the project directory. Every time sample. Okay, so for the first run, it has all the values of a roll number, name, grade, and percentage. So if I execute the program once again, now with this iOS mode of append app, if I execute it once again, let us see what happens here. Nothing happens here because oh, I missed another P here. Okay, so if I execute this, if it gets executed successfully, so what happens is another set of values, the same values will be duplicated. I hope we got an error here. Let me check out the error. Where's the problem? Oh, I've done a blunder. I'm just adding this append here, not here. Okay, so that is not the place to add that iOS mode here. That is the place where we are opening a file. That is the place where we need to add this append. Okay, let me execute the program. If everything goes well, if I go to my project directory, so if I go to my project directory, uh, which is tests here in my Visual Studio, if I go back to the sample, so perfectly another same set of values has got duplicated once again. Okay, so all this happened because we are appending the values here. Okay, so we have used this mode while opening the file. Okay, so if you go back to your code once again here, we are using that mode. So if you want to change the values here once again to 31 and some sort of grade B and 83.9, and let us say Ram Manohar or something like that. And okay, so if you execute the code once again, what happens is the new set of values gets appended at the end of the file. Okay, so go back to your project directory after executing the program. Go back to your project directory, and if you open the sample file here, okay, so here we have the Ram Manohar B grade, and we have this the next set of values appended at the end of the file. Okay, so in this way you can create a file and put some values, store some values, and append them at the end of the file using, you can use a whole lot of what we call iOS manipulators, or IO manipulators, which are under the namespace, standard namespace. You can make use of them, and you can create files, various different files, and put some values and put some calculations or results of your calculations into consecutive files. And if you want to read from your results, you need to use this iOS mode, iOS append mode here. Okay, append mode. In that way, you can store the values or results of your programs which are obtained during the calculations, and so on and so forth. Okay. So hope this tutorial helped you. So put your feedback in the form of comments. Okay. See you in the next lesson. Goodbye.